Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So as we all know that IE is about to end its support, so it's very important that we know that how to browser migration tool can help us in migrating our current process from IE browser to any other browser, say for example, Edge, Firefox or Chrome. So what is browser migration tool? So instead of doing it all manually, like going on each selector and changing the selector to be compatible with our destination browser, there is a tool that has been released by UiPath in 2021.6 release, which is browser migration tool. So what basically is browser migration tool? It's a simple standalone tool, like it's an executable file that converts the XAML files targeting a certain browser. Say, for example, we need to shift from IE, Chrome, Edge, or Firefox to any other browser. Even if we need to shift our current process from Chrome to Edge or from Edge to Firefox, that can also be achieved using browser migration tool. And not only that, if we have to shift it from IE, then only we can use it. Rather, interconversion into different other browsers is also available and supported by browser migration tool. And it can be used with XAML files generated with any Studio or UI automation version activities, version as 18.4, 19.10, 20.10, or 21.4. So any of these versions, browser migration tool supports migrating your process or your code base from one browser to another browser. But there are certain limitations and certain things that it covers, and there are certain things that it does not. So let's also have a look at that, and then we can see how do we actually use browser migration tool to ease our migration. So what all does the tool cover? So it migrates the HTML selectors by updating their app property. So if we talk about IE, usually the app property is not present in IE browsers, but whereas in all other browsers, say for Chrome and Edge, app property is there. So the browser migration tool takes care that it adds the app property to all the selectors. Then obviously changing the browser type property of the open browser and attached browser activities. So if you remember in the open browser activity, we have a property wherein there's a drop down from which we select which particular browser we want to use. So the browser migration tool takes care of it and change it accordingly. Then change the default value of the variables from source browser to target browser. So if there's any default value that we have given while our browser was IE, that is also migrated when we change our browser to some other browser, say Chrome. Also, one very, you could say, alluring property that I see is that it even updates the kill process activity. So suppose initially you're killing IE Explorer, which is Internet Explorer in your current process, but since you would not be using Internet Explorer in your updated process, so browser migration tools also takes care of this, that it even updates all the kill process activity as well. So suppose you're killing iExplorer.exe, but now you've shifted to Chrome, so you have to kill chrome.exe, so the tool would take care of it. But there are certain limitations to the tool as well, which we shouldn't be forgetting. So let's have a look at that as well. So all the selectors that start with WND, which is basically window-based selectors for all the pop-up that we get on the screen. So whether we use Chrome or whether we use Explorer, whether we use Edge, there are certain window-based pop-up that we get on screen. So it's like a popover over the current screen, wherein it says that particular, say google.com says this, or you get certain pop-up to save the screen or to, if the file already exists and you need to replace that file, so then also you get a window-based pop-up for that. So such pop-ups are not taken care by the browser migration tool, because generally these type of selectors are rendered differently by different browsers. So for IE, that pop-up would be different, and for Edge, Chrome, or Firefox, it would be different. So you have to regenerate it manually by indicating the target element in the new browser. And definitely, it does not ensure 100% success rate. There could be certain things or certain configuration or customization that your process would be taking care of, and that is not covered while you're using browser migration tool. So it does not ensure any success rate or any percentage of success rate. What you can do is, once you have migrated using browser migration tool and you've updated all the window based selectors, you thoroughly test it. so that every module or every branch of your process has been tested so that you actually know if there's any breakage in the code, you can handle it manually. Also, while I was dealing in with browser migration tool, I also came across certain things. Say, for example, drop down. So I was working on a process in which there was a drop down. Though the parent selector was updated, but there was also a change in the child selector for that particular web-based application, which was not taken care by browser migration tool. Whereas the same worked on a different website. So there could be even certain application specific or website specific tag based thing or attribute based properties that would not browser migration tool may not have catered it. So the only way to ensure 100% success rate is thorough testing. So pop-up like these are not taken care by the browser migration tool. So you need to manually re-indicate the selector of this in the new browser and then work on it. Now that is the end. Let's see how do we actually implement all of this. So what you have to do is you have to go to cloud.uipath.com to install or to download the browser migration tool. It's very easy. You have to click here on help, and then in the resource link section, just scroll down, and under other product, again scroll down, you'll see browser migration tool present here. So just click on it. It will download a zip folder here. It's a very small zip folder and would just get downloaded within seconds. Extract everything you want to extract. So I've extracted it here. So you can see it's an application exe based file that I've got. So I've already created a process over here which logs into a dummy website, and it actually opens the browser, navigates to that URL, and then just logs in, gets certain text and write it into the message box. So it's a sample workflow that I've created to show how browser migration tool actually works. And as I've covered that kill process, actually, this also is updated by browser migration tool. So as of now, you can see it's iExplore because I'm dealing in with iExplore. Over here also, you can see it's IE. And then over here also, you can see it's browser type.ie. So everything is IE. And over here, if you see, there is no app selectors because usually Internet Explorer does not have that app property. But once we update it to any other browser, the app property would be added. Also, this get text, I have kept it separate from the attached browser because this would help us in this thing that it does not have a parent selector. So this is a sort of partial selector being created, but this also gets updated by browser migration tool. So there are few if and buts, there are few pros and cons, but all in all, if I have to say something, it really eases the entire migration process because this is a small workflow. You may not actually feel the need of browser migration tool, but when the process is big, which is usually big, in case if you actually go for an actual process to be migrated, where there are 10 to 15 XAMLs to be treated, it's a huge manual effort that has to be put into converting, whereas browser migration tool just does the same thing within seconds. So we have this over here. I'm gonna copy the path, and because we've already downloaded the browser migration tool, so I'm gonna navigate there. So here it is. So I'm just gonna double click on it and we would get a very friendly UI of the browser migration tool. Copy the folder here, include subfolder as well. So our source browser would be IE, but our destination browser has to be Chrome. Okay, before that, let me just show you by running the same thing on the Explorer. So I'm gonna click on run. So it's gonna open this dummy site, enter in the ID password, login, and then would show this thing, site provider ID, which is just a get text from here. So I'm gonna click on OK, and it has run all well. And okay, so now I'm gonna migrate the same thing to Chrome. So I'll say, okay, start. Conversion completed successfully within, I think, milliseconds. I would say, okay, so there's this log file being created, which says that how many times browser type has been changed, how many times selector change count has been changed, how many type kill process count has been changed. So all these logs has also been generated. Now, also you can see that this was the original value. So as I said, IE does not usually have app property. So this was the original one. And this is the value that has been changed. So app thing has been added. So usually all the other three browsers apart from IE have app property. So for Chrome, it's chrome.exe. For Microsoft Edge, it's msedge.exe. And similarly for Firefox. So usually all other browsers apart from IE do have an app property. So it indicates everything, that what was the original value and what is the changed value. Okay, I'm gonna cancel it. I'm gonna refresh it. So now we've got the tool log.json file over here also. I'm gonna open the main file. And now if you see, it has been updated as Chrome. If you go to browser, this also has been updated as Chrome. And now I'm gonna run this to show that now the same thing would work on Chrome. So that is how easy the browser migration tool does the job for us of this migration, which is definitely a tedious task, but it eases this so much and just completes the task within seconds. So we've got the same message box that we saw in the case of IE via Chrome. So yeah, that's all about browser migration tool. It's definitely a very helpful add-on in 2021.6 release. And I hope this video helps you and the browser migration tool helps you in migrating your process from one browser to another browser. I hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And also don't forget to press the bell icon for instant update. Thank you. Happy automation.